Sorry? Okay, so we need to complete the business from the last meeting. So if I could be reminded where we got to after the last one, I think we had completed 6.1.
Yes.
Okay, and the recommendation was as per the officer's recommendation?
The recommendation at this point in time is the deferral of the item. So if you'd like to recommit the item.
Okay, all right then.
We recommit the item, but it would be good. I think the Lord Mayor had some amendments, so I don't know whether we can wait till she is here or...
All right, well, we might move on to the next one and give the Lord Mayor a chance to appear. So we'll go on to 6.2 Federal Street. I think we did complete that one, supporting the officer's recommendation. Okay, we'll move on to item 7, which is the committee action status report. Thank you, Deputy. Any questions about the status report?
Well, I just, you know, like a lot of these projects, be interesting to see whether there's, you know, how they're budgeted and where they are in the scheme of things. I don't know if I should ask that as a question without notice, or perhaps Mr. Short can help me there.
Well, Chair, through you, yeah, absolutely. With the redistribution of responsibilities in the organisation now, myself, Katie and Neil need to get together and actually work through this list because it is a very long list. So we need to reallocate based on the new structure where things sit. That would be the first step, and then going to your question, Deputy, yes, then, or where are they at in the priority list? I can't answer that at this point, so if you want to make it a question on notice, or question without notice,
Okay.
and then we can respond more formally, that's fine.
Thank you. I'll do that.
Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor? So no further questions. Deputy Lord Mayor has moved the status report. No dissent?
Started at 5:15. Sorry.
Yeah, that's for the other one.
Oh, right.
This is catching up on the last one that
Oh, I
was
see.
suspended. Hey, Jeff? So we'll go back to the Hague Street, the Lena Valley one. So we've got questions without notice. We'll take that to the end, and we will go back now to item 6.1 of the agenda, the petition Hague Street and Augusta Road, Lena Valley road safety concerns. So the officer's recommendation
Is to kick the can down the road, as they say. Was that it?
Well, I just wonder, Chair, and obviously the Lord Mayor had some amendments, but given the, you know, the idea, I mean, we have so many priorities, and I'm just asking a question about priorities, and we'll do so formally in a question without notice. But given the recommendation is that this be taken up as the overall local area mobility plan, perhaps we can suggest that the Lena Valley lamp be the first lamp to begin. I mean, would that be possible? Like if we were, you know, if we were rolling out the lamps,
that's
local area mobility plans.
Yeah, yes, that is possible. That absolutely, that's the will of the committee.
Mm-hmm.
Can we though also ask for it to start at a certain point by when are you planning? I mean, I've heard about these lamps for a couple of years now. They start.
I think, Chair, we would have to take that question on notice. I'm sorry, I don't think Katie or I have that information to hand right now. We're still coming up to speed with these areas, so.
My question, just off the back of what the Deputy just said, was do you have a rough idea on, you might have just answered already, but what the timeline for this would have been under what's the recommendation is for something to actually get done there, and what the timeline would be should we do what the Deputy is suggesting and then bring it to the front of the pack? Like when would this be ultimately done on the road.
Is that what I just asked? You know, like, sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was saying, like,
Yeah.
what is the difference in timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look,
Well, I think we could basically request that that a LAMP or engagement with the local communities start by 1 July or something. I don't know.
Well, hang on. Can I just be the chair here? So can we just get say it again. When do you think we will commence the process for the local area mobility plans?
neither Katie nor I are in a position to answer that tonight.
Mhm.
I think we will have to come back to you.
Okay, so we'll
with
take that on notice.
More detail. I'm sorry about that. We're just not in a position to answer that at the moment.
Is there another initiative happening from the mobility team at the moment? I mean, I thought the lamps were the main act, the only thing that they've really got on there.
Through you, Chair, that
And that's the same team that will be doing the lamps.
Yes.
So they're occupied with a project at the moment. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm supportive of what the deputy is suggesting, that we prioritise the Lena Valley one. So I'm happy to have that in the motion, that mobility improvements be investigated for Augusta Road and Hague as part of the overall local area plan, and that this be a priority project when the lamps process begins.
And Chair, would it be useful to committee that, in addition to the recommendation, that for the next committee, a report come back outlining the LAMP process in more detail and timings?
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay, that can be part 3. Yep. And Lord Mayor, what were you hoping to get from this, like a deadline for starting?
Well, it just sort of feels like it's just really not clear. Because, yeah, the lamps thing, it just felt like it's sort of, I don't know when it's due to start. I mean, when did we sign off on it? It was like 10 months ago or something.
But are you happy with the director to come back to us next meeting with a time frame?
Sure.
Because otherwise we're not going to, if we set a time frame here, we're not going to meet it, because we have, as the director has said, as Director Cooper has said, we are working on another project at the moment. But we are prioritising this one. Deputy?
And I think, you know, from my discussions with the director earlier today, that there's obviously a lot of staff shortages, and you know, I would like to see eventually that this kind of planning for our city is, you know, infrastructure planning is prioritised. You know, like it's so important, and I know it's part of that bigger picture of the Central Hobart Precincts Plan. It all feeds into that, but you know, like, as you know, the wheels keep spinning really, as the Lord Mayor has suggested. So, but realistically, if we can't you know, promise for it to be delivered, or you know, report back on,
You need the timeframes. Yeah.
on how we might do that. Yeah.
Alderman Barakis, then the Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Look, I think we're all very much on the same page here. I like that we'll have some more information about the sketch. Come back to us, and definitely agree that we bring this forward. I think, and I don't want to speak for the Lord Mayor, because I think we might definitely be on the same page as well, but it's a bit, I don't know, I don't want to say disappointing, because that's a bit too hard, maybe a bit harsh, but because I don't think it's through anyone's fault, but it's makes it a bit difficult on this particular one when we don't have an idea of what the timeframes are. Noting that, like I said, you don't have them with you, but it makes it a bit hard to really make a decision with any clarity, other than we bring it forward, but we don't know what we bring it forward from or to. It's just know that we bring it forward. So that would be, it would have been nice to have been able to have some clarity, that not just for us, but so we can tell the people that have concerns about this, even around about when we're talking about. But granted that is what it is. But if information, could we get information back
Prior to the meeting.
around this sooner than the next committee?
Is this going to full council?
Yes.
So could we have an indication by the full council? Is that too soon?
No, we can certainly talk with the team and see where the planning was at. Absolutely,
Mhm.
yes. So that we can do that prior to the council meeting.
And then maybe we can insert a time frame. But I'm nervous about inserting a time frame if we can't hit it, and it gives false expectations.
Which is hard to do without knowing what any of the timeframes are. That's what I'm saying. It's a
Yeah.
bit hard for us to make a decision with any real clarity or
Yeah.
without knowing any of this. But I agree with bringing it forward. I'm not. Yeah.
They can keep that additional recommendation in any event, but we will provide further information prior to council meeting.
All right.
Yeah,
Lord Mayor?
yeah, just 2 points. One is we just have to be careful because when we write a letter to petitioners, we usually include the entire resolution, and it sounds very utopia-ish if we say that we wait for the lamp, but then we get a further report on the lamp. So it just, we just have to watch how we write to the petitioners to make it seem like there is something happening. And
But if we ever, sorry, we.
Hang on, can I just, my bit, just,
I was going to make one other point.
okay, go on, finish, Lord Mayor.
Oh, and just a broader issue, just around sort of corporate memory around this whole mobility space. Just a bit of concern because the school survey, to me, replicates a school survey we did in 2016-17 of even more schools in the city of Hobart. That was quite a well done interactive process with all schools run by that we commissioned the Bicycle Network to run, and now we seem to be doing another school survey of the same schools 5 years later. So it just worries me a little bit that we're sort of, again, it's that sort of wheel spinning and lots of planning, lots of kind of reports, but when are we sort of moving on some of these sort of areas where there is a lot of community interest? So anyway, yeah.
Well, look, we've got to make a decision here. So I'm happy with the addition of the priority for Lena Valley. I think that the petitioner should be satisfied somewhat with that. And part 3, that we have a further report on local area mobility plan timeframe
Process.
and process.
In the meantime, we'll endeavour to get as much information to you prior to council.
Doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah, no, I'm not worrying about that. I think keep it simple. But in that letter to the petitioners, I'd be happy for it to say that we are in the process of doing a process with the schools. Just explain what's going on, and that the lamps will be starting at some time after that. Just explain what the situation is, so that we're not put on the spot for not doing something. So.
Yeah, although the Lena Valley School's not part of this 3-school survey. So.
Okay. But anyway, we've got to keep moving here. So 1, 2, 3. Are we all happy with what we're proposing here? Or not necessarily happy, but do we all agree to what we're proposing here?
Yep.
Okay. Who'd like to move it? Has it been moved? Did you move it, Deputy? Jason, who moved it? No one? Okay. Alderman Barakis has moved it. Any dissent? Okay, I'll declare that carried. What else do we have? We've gone through all the others. We've completed the closed section. So I'll close this meeting.
I think we've got questions without notice, Chair.
Questions without notice.
In the
Yep.
open.
Okay. No, we went through all those.
Did we? Oh, sorry. Yeah,
At the
okay. Yeah,
questions
my
without
apologies.
notice.
Yep.
Any
Because
questions?
We've closed. Yes, so question, can we have an update on infrastructure projects and how they are progressing, as well as the delivery timeline, please?
Taken on notice, Chair.
Is this the only time to ask questions on notice, or is
You'll
there
have another chance
meeting?
with the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So think about the next meeting. Yeah. Alderman Bennett will get another go next meeting. Are we all clear with that? No more questions? All right. Well, I'll declare the meeting closed.